Hello everyone and welcome to Brettonia. I'm going to take you guys through a couple turns here and have Marienburg by turn 2 on Legendary, and also show you guys what to do a few turns after that to deal with the greenskins. So, let's get started here. First thing I'm going to do is start preparing the king for the siege by taking him to the border. Not quite outside because I want him to be able to recruit. I'm also going to bring my maiden over there so she can also join the fight. But first, we also need to look at our buildings and recruitment. Now, all I'm going to recruit is archers. Max out the capacity here to have 4 units of archers. And that way you can take out most of the army pretty much with just your archers. You'll see what I mean here shortly. Now, it's up to you guys what you want to build. I'm just throwing up the chalice there so I can get eventually the battle pilgrims. They're a better infantry unit for early game. So I'd much rather have battle pilgrims for my infantry before bothering trying to get men-at-arms with shields. It's preference. You can also go with the trebuchets and go start working towards those fire arrows and pox arrows. So as you can see here, I'm going to take this turn opportunity to also deal with all my trade agreements that I can get and non-aggression pacts with the other Brettonian factions. That way later on it's easier to confederate them and start building the necessary points to befriend them.
Welcome to fair Brettonia. Welcome to fair Brettonia.
Also, don't forget the Empire. They will, on turn 1, do a trade agreement with you on Legendary, which is handy. Midland, let's see. Yeah, non-aggression pact. There we go. That looks like about it. Alright, so we are ready to end the turn, it looks. Oh, wait, one more thing. Alright, so what I'm going to do is cancel that building, and I'm going to build another lord. Having an extra lord can make a world of difference for the battle with Marienburg, as it's just someone else that can soak up a lot of damage and tie up another one of their units. So next turn he'll be ready. We'll have to force march him over, but he'll be able to make it. Alright, we are now on turn 2, and the greenskin incursion has begun, which is a huge debuff to your control. So we need to act fast now. We're going to take Marienburg right now. Now, as you can see, the autocalc says it's in their favor. They got a lot of strong units in their army hiding behind those walls. Now, what you're going to see here, I'm going to go ahead and force march my second general over to aid the battle.
Very well, I go.
And also bring Florence des Bois over into Leoncourt's army. Now, let's have a look at that battle meter again. Now, this is much better. It says it's even. You could actually probably auto-calc this, but I don't recommend it. You're going to want as many troops left over from the battle as possible to deal with the greenskins. So, with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and fight the battle. Now, looking at their cards here, they have a mortar unit. That is the deadliest thing against my peasants right now. And I have a plan on how to tie this up. Again, remember, I'm going to kind of game the AI a bit to my advantage, because those mortars, for every hit they land on one of my peasant infantry units, they're going to probably not only annihilate a good chunk of them, but destroy their leadership. Peasants don't have very good leadership, and when they get hit directly by a mortar shot, it's not good. They also have halberdiers behind the wall. Those are very tough infantry to deal with, and my archers are going to most likely have to melt as many of those as they can, along with their crossbowmen, and eventually we'll get to the mortars. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all my cavalry, because they're going to be pretty pointless until I reach their walls with my trebuchet, or get through the gate. Get Leoncourt and my archers over to the right as well. I'm going to also bring my infantry peasants into the forest, so they're all hidden. I don't want them getting hit for anything. I don't want them being seen. Pull the trebuchets diagonally like this, so they're least likely to be hit by towers, and be able to start hammering those walls so I can make a breach and get my cavalry inside. Alright, Pegasus Knights are ready as well. So the main thing I'm going to be using right now is my archers and Pegasus Knights. Everything else is going to be hidden. Also, the trebuchets are going to work on some of those walls. Now, the way I have them positioned, King Leoncourt is going to be handling a lot of the tower damage, so the archers can get in position. And my Pegasus Knights as well. Now, I'm going to start bringing the Pegasus Knights behind the walls, and here's why. We're going to take those mortars and use them to our advantage. Meanwhile, the archers are also getting in position. I want them also diagonally out of the range of the towers, and that way they can also hammer the infantry from behind the walls. So now that our Pegasus Knights are behind the walls, the mortar has decided that they're the target. Now, it's kind of hard for the mortar to hit air units, so what happens when they miss is they're going to start hitting their own infantry. And luckily, if the Pegasus Knights do get hit by a mortar shell, it's not going to do a whole lot of damage. It's designed for anti-infantry, not Pegasus Knights. Alright, archers are just about in position, so let's go ahead and start hitting that wall. And well, you can see that my Pegasus Knights are starting to take a little bit of fire from enemy crossbowmen. So we're going to have to keep an eye on our Pegasus Knights. A little bit of micromanaging between the archers here and the Pegasus Knights. Ooh, some direct hits there with the mortar on their walls and also down on the ground. So I'm going to charge and kind of harass these crossbowmen with my Pegasus Knights. They're going to do quite a bit of charge damage to these guys. They just went down their entire rank, just smashing them. Now I'm going to immediately pull them back in the air because I don't want any of those infantry, especially the halberdiers and spearmen, to get a hold of my Pegasus Knights. Meanwhile, my archers are just tearing them to pieces, along with the help of their mortar. I'm going to harass them a bit more. Oh, we got some crossbowmen showing up. Let's go attack them. They don't have any support infantry to deal with my Pegasus Knights, so this will be actually quite handy. Meanwhile, we're hitting that big blob with a round of arrows. So you'll be wanting to target mainly the crossbowmen, which are now on the walls, making them a prime target for me. Meanwhile, my Pegasus Knights are dispatching the other crossbowmen. When halberdiers are close enough, target the halberdiers. If you have neither of those, just pick something else until one of them shows up. Maybe one of their more healthier units. Because what you want to do is make it safe for when your cavalry come in to not have to deal with any crossbowmen or any of the halberdiers especially in the fight. Spearmen aren't so bad. The swordsman infantry is what you really want your horses to be on top of because they'll just destroy them. Save them for last. It'll be great. Alright, we got a breach in the wall, but we're not going to go in yet. We're going to make the breach even larger, and we're going to wait. We want to dispatch as many of the crossbowmen and halberdiers from the other side of the wall as much as we can before we send in our infantry, because if we send them in now, they're going to start getting clogged up in the wall with their infantry, and they're going to get destroyed by that mortar. So we need to make sure that that mortar is not going to be a threat anymore, which is now starting to turn its attention to my archers. And any direct hit, yep, you see that? It may have taken only about 10% of their health, or maybe about 15%, but it took more than 50% of their leadership, and that's not good. So you don't want that mortar hitting any of your infantry. Even with the king around, it's not good. It's bad mojo. Let's finish that up on the wall. I'm having a little bit of issues with the line of sight, causing my infantry or my archer line to kind of get messed up. They're thinking their commands need to bring them inside the walls now, and we don't want that. So we have to reposition them and get them prepared for another volley. All right, there's a halberdier unit. Destroy it. Meanwhile, a small unit of crossbowmen need to be dealt with my Pegasus Knights. Now we'll have to do this quickly before the infantry turns their attention again. Alright, pull them out of there. Meanwhile, the archers are going to destroy that halberdier unit. Even though I got like 5 or 6 archer units hitting that halberdier unit, it is still handling it quite well despite not having any shields. Alright, there's a full unit of crossbowmen there. That's no good. Let's hit it. Boom. Pull them out of there. Get them out. Alright, there's those smaller crossbowmen. Oh, that one's going to break as soon as my Pegasus Knights get near it. And hopefully run off the field. Those archers are just blotting out the sky. Now with the archers, do not put them on fire at will. Have them manually used. That way they fire all at once, and I feel that they're slightly more accurate, and they cause a lot more damage. Fired at will also cause them to fatigue faster. So if you want to get full use out of your archers, do it manually. So we almost have this courtyard cleared out, which means we can soon bring in our infantry. We got that tower to stop shooting. Now once we take this unit out next to the other tower, that tower will also stop shooting, making the infantry and horses able to get inside with minimal resistance against them. Now, I'm also now repositioning my trebuchets to get a little closer and see if they can start shooting into that main courtyard and hopefully get a couple hits on that mortar unit. Or at the very least, some more of their infantry. Alright, let's finish off that little unit. Actually, no, let's have the, because their leadership's starting to drop. They're getting hit by towers, some arrows, and the mortar. We need to see if we can take out that larger unit. Meanwhile, the Pegasus Knights can deal with that small one on the wall. Piece of cake. Our peasant bowmen are getting pretty beat up. So very soon, we're going to have to bring in the rest of the army. Including our Pegasus Knights. They're not looking too good either. Alright, so let's pull them back. Get them ready to deal with anything that they need to intercept or flank from a rear. We're going to have to start planning to bring in our infantry very soon. Our peasant bowmen are not going to be able to handle much more. Their leadership's low. They're running out of ammo. Let's see if we can get them a little closer to start hitting the last unit of crossbowmen. I think it's the last unit. Or at the very least, get close enough to start peppering one of those infantry units. Paving the way for our cavalry and infantry to clean up the rest. Meanwhile, I forgot to mention I have my extra general. He's been beaten on the main gate for a while now on his own. So once that opens up, because he's got time, he'll get through there pretty soon now, and that'll allow us another position to get into the city. Meanwhile, all the towers are inactive. We've managed to put them in a position where they don't want to put anything on the walls anymore. So that means we can reposition our our peasant bowmen into a position straight on and being able to reach the center of the courtyard. They might put something on the wall here in a second, and if they do, we're probably going to have to shoot them down. Pegasus Knights can clean up these guys real quick. Yep, they got some stuff on the walls now, but we can now reach the mortar with our archers. And we're mainly focusing those crossbowmen. Once the crossbowmen are out of the picture, that'll be good for us as well. That mortar's starting to run out of ammo. It's not going to be in play very long. Okay, start shooting those guys on the walls. Pegasus Knights can finish those guys off. Come on, let's get those crossbowmen out of the picture. Turn this battle, the last part of the battle, into a melee. There we go. Alright, they're going to run away now. They're broken. Let's see what we can do with that mortar. As you can see, the peasant bowmen, with their poor leadership, are starting to run. But I think we got enough in them to take care of that mortar. Or at least to get it to break. It's about to break. A couple more volleys. Pegasus Knights on standby. Mortar has been dealt with. We can now roll our next phase of the plan here in a second. Let's see if we can get some more archer fire on top of these walls, deal with those halberdiers. Alright, we gotta keep an eye on our archers because they keep breaking and facing the other direction. But now, bringing in the infantry. Starting with the king, he can take these two units on his own, especially with the help of the Pegasus Knights in the rear. Roll out. Give him that buff. Probably not going to need it, but we'll do it anyway. Go help out your king, Pegasus Knights. Meanwhile, that door should be open now. So very soon we can use a new entry point to bring in our cavalry. Once our infantry engage their infantry, we'll bring the cavalry in to smash their flanks. Our archers are pretty much done. We're going to be pulling them back here in a second. They're out of ammo. Their leadership's broken. They've done a good job. All right, we've taken out that tower. A little more safety approaching the gates. Go help the maiden out. She's not very tanky, so she's going to, even though it's a very small unit, she could probably take it. We don't want her to have to lose any more health. All right, let's get the archers out of there. We want them ready for the next battle with the greenskins. So no sense throwing out their lives. All right, so that gate's open. We can now use a new entry point with our general and our cavalry. So we're going to position our cavalry in front of that door, and we'll have our infantry come from the breach in the wall. Once we have all their infantry tied up, we can bring that cavalry in to smash them from behind. Just got to keep an eye on what remaining halberdiers and spearmen they have, and making sure that they're engaged with infantry and hit from the back with cavalry. Alright, let's use these Pegasus Knights to smash this flank. They're not going to like that. Kaboom. Alright, these guys, they can handle this. Especially with the general. He's going to take away some of their charge protection, getting them engaged in battle. Let's bring in our anti-infantry cav. Knights Errant are perfect for the job. We use this other street now with our peasants. Alright, let's keep an eye on things here. Make sure those halberdiers don't engage my cav. Well, they have a few crossbowmen left. Still hanging in there, but not enough to be a threat. Come on, you have your second order. Start heading down that street. Oh, there's the victory. They have nothing left. The size of my forces is too much. Their leadership broke. They are done. And the castle is ours. And that is a turn 2 victory for Marienburg. Alright then, so all that's left now is to occupy the settlement, prepare for the greenskins, and also to make peace with Marienburg. Now this is up to you. I would make peace with them, that way you can put full attention on the future rebellion you're going to have from the greenskin debuff, and also take out Grunzint. You could always come back for Marienburg later, but to keep them at war now would just be kind of a waste of resources. You have the potential for them to raise another army and harass you while you're busy trying to deal with greenskins. And things could get complicated depending on how your playthrough goes. I don't recommend sacking it. Let's go ahead and occupy. So now that we've done that, I want to be able to take out the greenskins. So we're going to make peace with Marienburg for this playthrough. And we're not going to do it just for nothing. We're also going to make them pay for it. Empty your coffers or die. Let's see. Oh, he'll do that. He'll even do that. He is pretty much mine. Still high success. Let's go with 3,000. Oh, that's the most we can get out of him. 3,000. All right, let's do it. This will be handy. Alright guys, that pretty much sums up taking out Marienburg in turn 2. This has pretty much established a strong foothold for Brettonia. If you need additional assistance and how I take out Grunzint by turn 5, watch my second part of the video. Good Good luck with your Brettonia campaign.
Let their enemies feel lance tip and blessed sword. Now is the age of chivalry and greatness. Now is the age of blood and battle.